We have two different size picks. We've got the mini pick, which comes on the 210mm and 230mm. Then we've got the regular pick, which comes on the 250, 270 and 290mm frame. Now, one of the things that was always an issue for me skating on the majority of the three-wheel setups, unless I changed the pick, was that when you would want to do deep edges, turns or crossovers, you would catch the pick very, very often. So one thing I was mindful of was to have the size good, so you can come all the way over. I'm only touching it there, so you're not very often you're going to be all the way over there. Now, something you need to think about is when you're on the center two wheels, you're going to have much more clearance. Now, if you go onto the front two wheels, you will catch it earlier. And one of the things with picks as well is finding that happy medium where it's big enough where it's great for spins and jumps, but then it's small enough that it's not in the way when you're doing deep edges, turns and crossovers. So it's finding that balance between them, which is what I've tried to do with ours. So we have the smaller pick here, so we can come all the way over to here. So another thing as well is the material that you use with the picks. So here's another balancing act, right? So you want something that has grip for jumps, and then you want something that also slips for spins. Is there a perfect? It's finding that center. You can have something that's incredible for spinning, but then you're slipping on jumps, or you can have something that's incredible for jumping, really grippy, but then you can't spin. So it's finding that balance. Like on the pick skate that I used to use, this is the harder one, which was I would slip all the time. Now it would feel good for spinning, but then for jumping, I would slip a lot. So it's finding that balance, and I don't think there is a perfect pick or stopper for all surfaces, right? So if you're skating indoors, like me personally, this is perfect for me. Like skating indoors, I've never slipped and I can spin on it. Now, obviously when you go outside on a rough surface, all bets are off, because you're not supposed to be spinning on a rough surface outside. It just doesn't make sense, right? That's like trying to spin on the ice when it's so cut up after 10 hours of hockey skating on it. It's not going to be fun. Yes, you can kind of do it, but now think about a perfectly clean sheet of ice. That is the difference. So ideally, inline figure skating takes place on perfectly smooth indoor or outdoor surfaces, hardwood, polished concrete. That's what you want to be aiming for. Now, sometimes we end up skating anywhere outdoors, so you make do with what you have. So finding that perfect material is a goal. Like for me, I really love this material. Could it be better? Maybe. I don't know. I may be having some more picks developed just for testing, because one thing I'm always going to do, I'm always going to look for ways to improve everything that I do. That's just the way that I'm built. So any products that we have, I'm always going to look for ways that we can improve. We hear feedback from different skaters. Like for example, one skater said they're slipping. Another skater said they're sticking. So which is it? But it probably comes down to technique. I'll give you one of the best tip I ever got about spinning was from Yifan Chen when I interviewed him for a podcast. He was world champion about 6 years ago. I said, what is your secret to spinning fast? He said, pressing lightly on the pick or the stopper, which makes sense. If you press really, really hard on it, you're going to stop. If you learn to press as lightly as possible, you're going to spin faster. So here is how you learn to do that. Skate backwards on 2 feet and then go onto your pick and try to go as far as you can. Then you will do it on 1 foot, because it's also about learning the balance as well. You've got to learn to balance sliding backwards. Then once you've done both of those, then you'll do it on your left foot on an inside edge. And if you don't know, when you spin, do it a regular way, so a regular upright, you're actually doing very small back loops, because the wheels do not go sideways, they go forward and backwards. So when you spin, you're going in circles like this, and you want to press lightly, which you'll end up, you don't lean over all the way, but you are over slightly because you're going in a circle. You can't stay totally upright and go in a circle. You'd go straight, wouldn't you? So that is our picks. That is why we use these sizes, why we've used this material, and yeah, a few more tips. If you have any questions, leave them below. Make sure you subscribe and share with anyone that you feel will get some benefit from this video. And if you want to learn more about inline figure skating, then you can go to our website. There'll be a link below, and you can learn all about inline figure skating with the guides and everything else that I've created on there.